Hi, my name is Ashish, and in this video we will see Microsoft Azure Services to the cloud computing. That means what does Microsoft Azure brings and what kind of services it has for us to work on cloud computing. First of all, why should you move to the cloud? The cloud helps you move faster and innovate in ways that were once nearly impossible. In our even changing digital world, two trends are emerging. Teams are delivering new features to their users at record speeds. End users expect an increasingly rich and immersive experience with their devices and with software. Software releases were once scheduled in terms of months or even years. Today's teams are releasing features in smaller batches. Releases are now often scheduled in terms of days or weeks. Some teams even deliver software updates continuously, sometimes with multiple releases within the same day. Now think of all the ways you interact with devices that you couldn't do just a few years ago. Many devices can recognize your face in response to voice commands. Augmented reality changes the way you interact with the physical world. Household appliances are even beginning to act intelligently. These are just a few examples, many of which are powered by the cloud. To power your services and deliver innovative and novel user experiences more quickly, the cloud provides on-demand access to a nearly limitless pool of raw compute, storage, and network components, speed recognition and other cognitive services, analytic services that enable you to make sense of telemetry data coming back from your software and devices. What all can you do on Azure? Azure provides over 100 services that enable you to do everything from running your existing applications on virtual machines to exploring new software paradigms such as intelligent bots and mixed reality. Many teams start exploring the cloud by moving their existing applications to the virtual machines that run in Azure, while migrating your existing apps to virtual machines is a good start, because the cloud is more than just a different place to run your virtual machines. For example, Azure provides AI and machine learning services that can naturally communicate with their users through vision, hearing, and speech. It also provides storage solutions that dynamically grow to accommodate massive amounts of data. Azure Services enable solutions that are not feasible without the power of the cloud. These are the Azure Services. Azure can help you tackle through business challenges. You bring your requirements, creativity, and favorite software development tools. Azure brings a massive global infrastructure that's always available for you to build your applications on. So if you will see the security and management, we have Security Center, Azure Portal, Azure AD, Business to Consumer, Multi-Factor Authentication, Automation, Key Vault, Azure Marketplace, VM Image Gallery, REST APIs, and CLI. In compute, we have virtual machines, containers, and Azure Kubernetes. For storage, we have blob, queues, files, and disk. For networking, we have virtual network, load balancer, DNS, express route, traffic manager, VPN gateway, application gateway. And for media and CDN, you have media services, media analytics, CDN. We have integration, we have compute services, we have developer services, application platform, data. We have hybrid cloud, Azure AD privileged identity management, domain services, backup, Azure Monitor, import, export. So these are all the different set of services, differentiating with platform services and the infrastructure services available on Azure. Now, if you talk about compute services are often one of the primary reasons why companies move to the Azure platform. Azure provides a range of options for hosting applications and services. Here are some of the examples. So if you take Azure virtual machines, these are a set of Windows or Linux virtual machines. If you talk about Azure virtual machine scale sets, these are scaling for Windows or Linux VMs hosted in Azure. If you talk about Azure Kubernetes services, it enables the management of a cluster of VMs that run containerized services. If you talk about Azure Fabric Service, it is a distributed system platform runs in Azure or on premises. If you talk about Azure Batch, container, functions, So these are all services that comes under compute on the Microsoft Azure platform, and we can use it as per our task and the requirements. Now comes the networking. In network, as I already told you, we have Azure Virtual Network, Load Balancer, Application Gateway, VPN Gateway, DNS, Content Delivery Network, also known as CDN. We have DDoS protection, Azure Traffic Manager, Azure Express Route, Azure Network Watcher, Firewall, and the Virtual WAN. So linking compute resources and providing access to applications is the key function of Azure networking. Networking functionality in Azure includes a range of options to connect the outside world to services and features in the global Microsoft Azure data centers. So if you would go through the Microsoft Azure documentation, you will see a lot of being written about all of these components in detail separately. Now it comes to storage. We have Azure Blob Storage, which is a storage services for very large objects such as video files or bitmaps. We have Azure File Storage, file shares that you can access and manage like a file server. We have Azure Queue Storage, a data store for queuing and reliably delivering messages between applications. We have Azure Table Storage, a NoSQL store that hosts unstructured data independent of any schema. So these are the 4 main types of storage services that Azure provides. When it comes to mobile, Azure enables developers to create mobile backend services for iOS, Android, and Windows app quickly and easily. Features that used to take time and increase project risk, such as adding corporate sign-in and then connecting to on-premises resources such as SAP, Oracle, SQL Server, and SharePoint, are now simple to include. Other features of this service include offline data synchronization, connectivity to on-premises data, broadcasting push notifications, auto-scaling to match business needs. We have databases. Azure provides multiple databases services to store a wide variety of data types and volumes. And with global connectivity, this data is available to users instantly. So if you talk about Cosmos DB, it is a globally distributed database that supports NoSQL options. And if you talk about Azure SQL database, it is a fully managed relational database with autoscale, integral intelligence, and robust security. If you talk about Azure database for MySQL, it is a fully managed and scalable MySQL relational database with high availability and security. Then you have PostgreSQL. It is also a fully managed and scalable PostgreSQL database with high availability and security. You have SQL servers on VMs. You have Azure SQL Data Warehouse, which is a fully managed data warehouse solutions. Then you have Azure Database Migration Service, which helps you migrate your databases to the cloud with no application code changes. You have Azure Cache for Redis, which is used to caches frequently used in static data to reduce data and application latency. You have MariaDB, which is also provide a fully managed and scalable MariaDB instance on Azure with high security. Now, if you talk about the web services that Azure provides, we have Azure App Service, Azure Notification Hubs, Azure API Management, Azure Cognitive Search, Web Apps feature for Azure App Service, and the Azure Signal or service. IoT. We have IoT managed services from the Azure as well. We have IoT Central, Azure IoT Hub, IoT Edge. So IoT Central is a fully managed global IoT software as a service solution that makes it easy to connect, monitor, and manage the IoT assets at scale. IoT Hub is a messaging hub that provides secure communications and monitoring between millions of IoT devices. And IoT Edge, it push your data analysis models directly onto the IoT devices, allowing them to react quickly to state changes without needing to consult cloud-based AI models. We have big data as well. So data comes in all formats and sizes. When we talk about big data, we are referring to large volumes of data. Data from weather systems, communication systems, genomic research, imaging platforms, and many other scenarios generate hundreds of gigabytes of data. This amount of data makes it hard to analyze and make decisions around. It's often so large that traditional forms of processing and analysis are no longer appropriate. Open source cluster technologies have been developed to deal with these large data sets. And Microsoft Azure supports a broad range of technologies and services to provide big data and analytic solutions. We have Azure SQL Data Warehouse. We have Azure HT Insight. We have Azure Databricks. So Azure Data Warehouse would be to run analytics at a massive scale using a cloud-based enterprise data warehouse that leverages massive parallel processing to run complex queries quickly across petabytes of data. Azure HT Insight process massive amounts of data with managed clusters of Hadoop clusters in the cloud. And Azure Databricks, collaborative Apache Spark-based analytics service that can be integrated with other big data services in Azure. Artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence in the context of cloud computing is based around a broad range of services, the core of which is machine learning. Machine learning is a data science technique that allows computers to use existing data to forecast future behaviors, outcomes, and trends. Using machine learning, computers learn without being explicitly programmed. Forecast or predictions from machine learning can make apps and devices smarter. For example, when you shop online, machine learning helps recommend other products you might like based on what you have purchased. Or when your credit card is swiped, machine learning compares the transaction to a database of transactions and helps detect fraud. And when your robot vacuum cleaner vacuums a room, machine learning helps it decide whether the job is done or not. So we have two things in artificial intelligence. We have Azure Machine Learning Service, which is a cloud-based environment we can use to develop, train, test, deploy, manage, and track machine learning models. It can auto-generate a model and auto-tune it for us. It will let us start training on the local machine and then scale out to the cloud. We have Azure Machine Learning Studio, collaborative drag and drop visual workspace where we can build, test, and deploy machine learning solutions using pre-built machine learning algorithms and data handling modules. The cognitive services. These are pre-built APIs we can leverage in the applications to solve complex problems. Vision, speech, knowledge mapping, Bing search, natural language processing, which is NLP, which allows the apps to process natural language with pre-built scripts, evaluate sentiment, and learn how to recognize what users want. And if you talk about a vision, so it is an image processing algorithms to smart identify, caption, index, and moderate the pictures and videos. And if you talk about speech, it converts spoken audio into text, which use voice for verification or add speaker recognition to the app. And if you talk about knowledge mapping, it maps complex information and data in order to solve tasks such as intelligent recommendations and semantic search. And if you talk about Bing search, it adds Bing search APIs to our apps and harness the ability to comb billions of web pages, images, videos, and news with a single API call. And moving forward, we have DevOps. Last but not the least, we have DevOps. So DevOps is development and operation, which brings together people, process, and technology, automating software delivery to provide continuous value to the users. Azure DevOps Services allows you to create, build, and release pipelines that provide continuous integration, delivery, and deployment for the applications. We can integrate repositories and application test, perform application monitoring, and work with build artifacts. We can also work with and backlog items for tracking, automate infrastructure deployment, and integrate a range of third-party tools and services such as Jenkins and Chef. All of these functions and many more are closely integrated with Azure to allow for consistent repeatable deployment for the applications to provide streamlined build and release process. So Azure DevOps Services, formerly it was known as Visual Studio Team Services or VSTS, provides development collaboration tools including high-performance pipelines, free private Git repositories, configurable Kanban boards, and extensive automated and cloud-based load testing. Then you also have Azure Dev Test Labs. Quickly create on-demand Windows and Linux environments we can use to test or demo the application directly from the deployment pipelines. I know this has been a long theory section regarding the Azure services that Azure bring to the cloud computing, but I wanted to make you guys familiar with all the services, and then moving forward we will learn about these services separately in the coming videos. I'll try to show you more labs and the portal like I did in the previous video, and I'll show you how to make a virtual machine, a web app, storage, few more things during the course of this video. So stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.